Hello and welcome to Of Land and Leaf. My name is Andrea and I garden in a community garden spot about 15 minutes away from my home. I'm here today to check out the garden. It's Sunday evening. There was a really bad storm that came through yesterday and I'm just getting a chance to get to the garden to check things out. Hopefully nothing's blown away, nothing is destroyed, but I figured while I was checking, we might as well do our first garden tour of the year. So I'm gonna walk over to the garden and let's take a look at things and see how everything is going. I am the only one in the garden. We had a garden work day yesterday and there were a lot of us here, so I'm thinking people probably took today off. Lots of things kind of thrown around. You can see as I'm walking down my normal little path here, things are kind of in the way that aren't typically there. But I see the greenhouse standing, so that's there. The garden is still very much a work in progress right now, but I'll show you what I have done and what I'm working on. So as you come into the garden on the right, we have what was supposed to be a lettuce and carrot bed. The lettuce has germinated. Some of it is doing okay, some of it is not. This one I'll be able to harvest, and there are some little tiny ones that are still trying to come up. So again, this is just kind of getting started. Carrots, not so much. I see a couple little sprouts of carrots. I'm going to go ahead and put some more in there, and I actually want to put some beans in this bed. So this is our first bed, and then when you come over here, you see my strawberry patch. And just yesterday when we were working, someone donated some garlic. He had too much garlic. He was like, I can't use all of this, so I added some garlic to this bed. And there is a volunteer, I think this is a sweet pea. I'm gonna move this over to the other area where I have my sweet peas because I don't know why this is there, and I'm not planning on putting a trellis in here for one sweet pea. So that's that. Over here, all the way to the side, you may not even be able to see it yet, but someone gave me something called a walking onion. Never heard of a walking onion, but I did put those in the bed as well. And eventually, not today, but probably the next time I come out, I'm also going to add some rosemary to this bed. So this bed will have strawberries, garlic, a couple of onions, and some rosemary. The next bed over will be a container bed because I'm going to add my okra grow bags into this bed, and I may be adding my dwarf lemon tree into that bed. I haven't decided what this bed is going to be yet. It may be an herb and flower bed. Right now it's just holding all my stuff. I gotta figure out what's going in there. If we back out from that, you can better see another project. These bags need to be replenished, and this trellis made of ladder mesh is where I'm gonna grow my cucumbers. They grew pretty well on there until they just died last summer. So I'm gonna do cucumbers on here, and I may do two, because I have two more of these ladder meshes, so I can make another trellis. So I may do cucumbers in there, and then cucumbers right there, just to make the best use of this space. I don't need all this dead space. And over here is my comfrey. I took it out of the container that it was in and planted it in ground because I heard it does a lot better in ground, and I wanted to get big. I have some garlic here that is not going to stay there. It's just the rest of the garlic that was given to me that I don't have a plan for yet, so I just kind of put it there, and I'll probably stick it in maybe even the Dollar Tree towers today. I'm not sure. I really want them to go in ground, but I want them to go in ground where the greenhouse is, and I'm not ready to move the greenhouse yet. This sweet potato has been planted for probably a week, and I'm used to seeing slips by now, and I don't. So this may be coming up. I may have to do another sweet potato because I'm not getting anything from this one just yet. I'll give it another couple days and we'll see what happens. I usually only do one sweet potato because I'm really the only one that eats them. So From one sweet potato, I can get 8 to 10 slips easily, and that gives me plenty of sweet potatoes. Then over here, let's see, the chair has knocked down, my little chair got knocked down in the storm. This is my little work area. I was looking at Cece's Texas Gardens video, and she has a little area that she's calling her retreat, or her, you know, like little paradise area. She covered hers. I'm trying to see how I can cover mine with the very limited space that I have. But for now, it's not super hot. I'm in Georgia, so I'm okay. Lemon, this was a full pot of lemon. Something got to it and ate it, but I know lemon is really resilient and it will come back. This bed will be my potato bed. I'm going to do both my sweet potatoes and my red potatoes in this bed in bags. So again, this has the weed barrier underneath it. Not even going to bother with trying to move that. I'm going to do bags of sweet potatoes, bags of red potatoes in this one contained area. And I'm going to do that because with my sweet potatoes, last year, if you remember, I put them in the raised bed. Something got in them and chewed them up. The year before that, I had them in the ground, and then they were popping up everywhere. So I want to try to see if I can keep them contained over here. The garden tree, the Dollar Tree towers, a couple days ago I planted out bush beans. Nothing has happened yet there. We'll give that a little bit of time to see if they sprout. If not, I'll come through with another round of bush beans. And then in here, we should have carrots sprouting. Not carrots, I'm sorry, corn sprouting in a couple of days. I just put them in. But this is the spot where my corn is gonna go. And next to it, we have this bed. And this is going to be a raised bed, which will be somewhat in ground. I mean, it's not gonna have weed barrier underneath it. I didn't carry it all the way under the bed. I just kind of stopped it maybe like an inch or two. And this is where I'm gonna grow my zucchini and probably put some lettuce and spinach in this bed back here. Over here is where I started to make another bed, and I decided not to. I need to do a little bit of weeding over here. This is my blackberry bush. I'm not sure if it's coming back this year, because as I look at some of my neighbors' blackberry bushes, they have leaves on theirs, and I don't really have leaves on mine. Let me take you over there. Okay, you see I have this one little leaf popping up. Maybe like a couple little leaves popping up, but my neighbor's blackberry bushes have leaves on there, so I may end up pulling this whole thing out. We'll see. If so, something else can come over to this spot. I did cut it back a lot, and I don't know, maybe somebody tell me, does blackberry grow on the new growth? Is that why I'm not seeing green? I don't think that's the case, but most of where I see some growth, it is like further on. So I'm not sure. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, let's go over to this bed. So in this bed, I'm starting to see some signs of life. This is kale that has overwintered, which is great. I'm still eating off of this kale. It still tastes fine. But you can start to see, if you look really closely, see if you can see. I don't know if you can see through the netting, but little beets are coming up. I planted some beets in here. I planted Swiss chard in here, but I didn't get any Swiss chard. It was right before freeze. I think it was a little too early. I thought I could get, oh, you know what? This might be Swiss chard coming in. We'll see. We're gonna give it a minute and see what that is. But I planted like 6. And I see 2, so we'll see. And look, the peas are coming back. So if you watch a couple videos back, I had some peas that were planted that were eaten down by something, and so I planted some new ones. They haven't come up yet, but these are the ones that were eaten back really bad. So I'm gonna let them get a little bit larger and keep everything under the net for now. This bed is all red onions. I think they're called candy red onions. And a couple of garlic that overwintered. I want to do something else in this bed. I don't want a bed with just onions. I brought some nasturtiums today, so I may put nasturtium in a corner. But I'm going to look up and see what I can use as a good companion plant for this onion and garlic. It looks really neat and uniform, but I just want to make sure I'm maximizing the space. Okay. And if we go over here, these are more onions, more intermediate onions. These are white. The other bed is all red. And I also planted some beets, and you can kind of see them start to come up. They're really tiny little babies, but I see them. And I planted thyme. That's a piece of thyme that was left over from last year that survived the summer. I planted more seeds, but they don't seem to be germinating. So we'll see. And then there's rosemary. And then in the little strawberry, that's supposed to be a strawberry pot, I put some chocolate mint. Chocolate mint, but I may go ahead and stick those onions in there. I don't know. I don't want to mess them up when it's time to pull them out. And I think they're going to get bigger than that. So I'm not sure what we'll do there. And then that brings us to the last little box, last bed is this bed. There's nothing growing on this trellis. I just moved it over here because it was in the way. I'm going to stick it back over there with the peas eventually. This is some onion that I put in here a year and a half ago. It just keeps getting larger and larger, and I just keep harvesting and harvesting, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So we're just gonna let it do what it do. And then I planted carrots in February, and I believe carrots are coming up, but I'm also not sure if this is carrot or if this is tomato, because I had a bunch of tomato seeds that fell over into this bed last year. So I'm just gonna let things grow. I'm not pulling anything yet. We'll just see what happens, what this bed ends up doing. Okay, now let's take a walk back over and let's look at what's happening in the greenhouse. Bring my little kneeler over here, because honey, you know, and this helps my back and my knees. So I'll sit here. Okay, so right now onions still in all of their bags. They're doing their thing right now. Some of the onions look like they're getting larger. Some of them do not look like they're getting larger. They'll be out in the sun. My plan is to take this down on April 1st. And then I'll just need to find a new place for everything, because I want to start actually direct sowing into the ground that this is sitting on April 1st, not waiting till April 15th. So let's take a look at what's happening in the jugs. Most of these jugs were started in February, like around February 4th, and then I did another round around February 19th. Here we have some lettuce, and we have two different types of lettuce. We have a Merlot lettuce, that's kind of a reddish color. That came from Baker Creek. And then we have this, let's see, Samson, Black Seed Simpson lettuce. I think it was a Dollar Tree lettuce, and it is really showing out. It's ready to come out. So I'm looking forward to planting that. And here, this is one of my mystery jugs that I don't remember what I planted in here, but it's some kind of spinach. And it's two different kinds of spinach. Whenever I put two of something, I kind of divided it by a little piece of cardboard. You can't see it, but I can tell. When I open it up, I'll be able to tell. One side has one kind of spinach and the other side has something else. Planted some stevia, and it's still small, but it's in there. It did germinate. I can finally start to see my echinacea. So excited about that. I think it just needed the temperatures to get a little bit warmer, but it's coming up. It's going to stay in here for a little while because I think it likes it warm, and I don't want to take it out prematurely. And here is broccoli, I believe. I think this is a broccoli that I planted that needs to be thinned. Let's let it, what do you think? Let it get a little bit bigger and then thin it, or take it out of here, because I do have those seedling pots that someone donated. If there are some here, I may go ahead and just pot this up now. I don't know, we'll see. And that's the same thing over here, just some broccoli that I'm gonna try to get broccoli before it gets too warm. So that's what that is. We looked at this. Let's see what's in here. Oh, this is what I believe is yarrow. There's a question mark because I'm not sure. But looking at that, what do you think? I think I have a bunch of yarrow, which I would be so happy about if that's what that is. Over here, we have some peppers. Not many, but we have Bueno Mulatto pepper. 2 have sprouted on that side, and then we have a jalapeno. We just have 1 jalapeno pepper, so I'm hoping to get more of those. I see a couple more coming. I see a couple more, so we should have at least 2 and 2 of the Bueno Mulatto and the jalapeno, and I really want to get a good amount of peppers. It's just me, so a couple peppers will give me exactly what I need. Those aren't expected to come out until late April. And then this makes me think it's yarrow, and this is not labeled, but that has that like fern looking shape like yarrow leaves. I've never grown it before, but that's what I think it is. So then what is the other stuff? I have no idea. One is chamomile, because I know I planted chamomile, and I know I planted yarrow. I just don't know the difference because this is my first time growing it from seed. So if you know, you can tell me, or we'll just wait until it comes out. Over here, this is marshmallow. The leaves are doing something funny. I don't know if they're supposed to curl and get kind of whitish like that. Something tells me they're not supposed to do that. So I'm not messing with it right now, but I may need to. I don't want to lose it. I planted this like February 4th or something like that, so I don't want to lose it. And here we have more broccoli that has germinated. I planted this broccoli because I didn't think the other one was going to come up. And this is a different one anyway, so we'll see. You know what? This, now that I think about it, might be cauliflower. We'll see. We have a mystery garden going on. All right, and then over here is lemon balm and sage. I don't think I have either. Nothing's coming up. I see a tiny piece of lemon balm, but it's been that size for the longest. So I'm gonna give it some time. I'm not in a hurry. We're still in March, and our last frost date is April 15th. So these can stay in the jug until and beyond April if they need to. And then I think the last thing is this muncher cucumber, which I just planted on March 7th, and it is what, March 14th, 15th, and I already have really good cucumber leaves, so I'm gonna let those stay in there a little bit longer, and then we'll plant them out. I already have the trellis ready, but I need to get the bags ready. So that's one of the things that I want to get done today. In addition to the tour, I want to go ahead and work on my cucumber bags so that those are good to go. Yeah, so that is the spring garden. We're in early March, and for me, this is early. I am learning, and every year I do something a little bit different. So this year I'm starting earlier. I got into this garden spot for the first year in 2023, June 2023, and everyone was telling me how late I was, and I was trying to grow things from seed, and I had a great watermelon great watermelon harvest, and I had tomatoes and some other things, but I only used a section of the garden. And again, I was just kind of learning as I was going. Last year, lots of pests, lots of heat. It was a hard year for gardening. But again, I was taking that April 15th date and thinking I start planting direct sowing April 15th. Not realizing that most of the people are bringing their plants to the garden on April 15th that they've already started at home. Well, I don't really have a seed starting home. My partner is not huge on mess or dirt or anything like that. And so I had to bring all of that stuff to the community garden, which I'm fine with. So the jugs gave me a way to kind of get that head start on planting before April 15th. And now I'll be able to plant out actual plants and not seeds. And so the garden will look better faster. I also didn't have a winter garden. Last year I ended up getting sick. I was in the hospital at the end of last year, so I was not in a position to come out and take care of a garden. I love to have a winter garden. I love collards and cabbage and those types of things that we can't really grow year round in zone 8A because it's just too hot. But I will have one this year because I will be healthy and whole this year. But I'm just really excited about gardening this year, and I'm really excited about where I am and what I've done so far, even in making the garden look better, because it hasn't always looked great. It honestly was fine for me. I just wanted a place to get in the dirt, but I don't think my neighbors appreciated it much. I kept getting notices about the weeds and stuff like that, and it just, it's not a manicured pretty garden. It hasn't been, but I'm going to comply. I'm going to have a nice pretty garden. I'm going to enjoy that. Honestly, I will enjoy it being pretty. It's just not a must-have for me. If I'm growing food, it doesn't have to be beautiful. But I enjoy aesthetically pleasing gardens. When I look at other people's gardens and they look good, I'm like, okay, I like that. I just have limited time, and I wasn't going to make myself, right? I wasn't going to force myself to have that part, but I was able to do it by building my beds out rather inexpensively, and now we can get to some work. All right, I'm gonna do a little bit of work. The tour is basically over. That's all I have going on right now in the garden. I emptied out one of my grow bags, and honestly, the soil looks really good. I'm not mad at the soil at all. So I added a little bit of the Soil 3, the veggie compost that we purchased, and I'm gonna season the soil a little bit with some bone meal and some garden food. I use the organic bone meal, and I'm gonna put a little bit of this garden tone in it, but I'm not gonna do too much because the soil looks really good. Actually, let me show you. So here's the soil that I emptied out of the grow bag, and it's nice and loomy. Like, this would be perfect for growing carrots. It's nice and loomy and soft. And here is the compost that I'm adding. So I'm just gonna stir this up a little bit, add in my little seasonings, and that's going to be what I'm growing my cucumbers in when the time comes. So I'm going to go ahead and get those bags ready. I won't have you watch me prep bags. We've done that already with the Dollar Tree towers, but I'm hoping that you enjoy this very first garden tour and that you'll come back and watch how the garden grows over the spring, summer, fall, and winter, because we will have a winter garden this year. Thank you for watching Of Land and Leaf. See you next time.